On the first day of the war, a single strike killed Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, gone, along with much of the leadership around him. Most people assumed that would end it. It didn't. Because this war was never really about one strike or one map. It was about five different mindsets colliding at once. And the fifth one is the one that explains all the others. So don't skip it. Quick frame before we start. This is analysis based on reporting, public statements, polling, and how each side actually behaved. When people summarize this war, they flatten it. America and Israel struck Iran on February 28th. Iran hit back and closed the Strait of Hormuz. A ceasefire came in April. A deal to reopen Hormuz came in June. But that timeline hides the real story. Because each player was chasing a different definition of victory. And when everyone is trying to win a different game, the war stops looking like a war. It starts looking like a contest over pressure, survival, fear, and narrative. Start with Trump. The pattern in the reporting looks like maximum pressure first, flexible goals second. Early on, the objective sounded enormous. By June, Reuters described him veering toward the exit of an unpopular war, with many of those early goals narrowed or unresolved. For Trump, victory didn't have to mean total transformation. It could mean an off-ramp he could still sell as strength. Because once a war costs you approval ratings and oil prices, leaders stop asking only how to beat the enemy. They start asking how to leave without looking like they lost. Now Israel. And here the logic diverges hard. Netanyahu's stated goals were broad: topple Iran's clerical government, eliminate its nuclear and missile capabilities, break its regional power. The opening strike even killed the supreme leader himself. But the government didn't fall. And as Washington moved toward a deal, Reuters reported Netanyahu privately admitting he had little room to influence Trump. Israel was largely sidelined. The final deal even left out Israel's core demands. Because Israel's mindset isn't built around closure. It's built around an unfinished threat. If the danger isn't deeply reduced, it isn't over. Iran's mind was different again. Think about what happened. Its supreme leader was killed on day one. Its sides were hit. And it still kept fighting. And walked out of the war intact. Iran never needed to win the battlefield. Its strategy was to absorb the blow, impose costs, squeeze the world's oil choke point, and prove that even wounded, it could still shape events. That's a different definition of winning, it says. If you hit me and I'm still standing and I make attacking me unbearable, then I'm not broken, I'm dangerous. And it wasn't only missiles. The Sufan Center documented Iran's information warfare, AI content, viral video, psychological pressure, endurance, ambiguity, and perception. Now, everyone else. The American public didn't rally. Pew found 62% disapproved of Trump's handling, and 59% said using force was wrong. A Reuters Ipsos poll found just 27% approved of the strikes, and 56% said Trump was too quick to reach for the military. The Gulf states drew a colder lesson. Iran survived. The US didn't solve the threat, and confidence in American protection was shaken, pushing them toward accommodation, not confrontation. One Gulf source put it bluntly: the situation is worse than before the war. Europe looked strained. China and Russia stayed calculating. Useful to Iran from a distance, but not willing to bleed for it. Most of the world wasn't asking who is right. It was asking, how do we survive the consequences? And now the fifth. This was also a war over perception. BBC Verify found AI-generated fakes. Fake missile strikes on Tel Aviv. A fake video of the Burj Khalifa in flames, racking up hundreds of millions of views. People asked AI tools to check the clips, and sometimes the tools called the fakes real. So modern war doesn't just damage cities, it damages shared reality. And suddenly the other four make sense. Trump needed to control the perception of strength. Israel couldn't afford the perception of leaving the threat alive. Iran needed survival to read as defiance, not defeat. And the world was reacting to uncertainty itself. You could watch it in the oil price, dropping on hope, jumping on doubt. That's what fear does now. It spreads faster than facts, and it prices itself into everything. So the deepest battlefield wasn't Tehran or Washington or Hormuz. It was the human mind. Belief, fear, narrative. Because once perception becomes part of the war, everyone is fighting twice. Once on the ground, and once inside your head.